So what happens when the very people who are supposed to protect you are actually the criminals you're afraid of? It's a crazy thought, right? Well, today, we're diving into this incredible story by the legendary author Munshi Premchand. It's a tale all about wealth, paranoia, and a heist that totally blurs the line between a crime and maybe, just maybe, some kind of divine justice.
And that question? It is the central theme of this whole story. You know, we often think a successful life means stacking up wealth over the years. But what's the real cost of all that? We're about to see how that very question comes back to haunt a man who was absolutely convinced he had it all.
Just imagine getting a message like that, and not just once or twice, but for the third time. This isn't just a threat, it's a promise. And it's this chilling promise that completely shatters the world of a very powerful moneylender, turning his big, fancy fortress of wealth into, well, a prisoner his own making.
All right, so let's meet our main character. His name is Seth Nanakchand. Now, the title Seth is basically what you'd call a super wealthy merchant or moneylender. And let me tell you, this guy has absolutely mastered the art of making money. But he's about to run into a problem that all his cash can't fix. A threat that isn't just knocking at his door, it's already inside.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because Nanakchand is a man of two faces. Publicly, he's the perfect picture of a pious man. We're talking daily worship, planning to build a charity inn, fasting for religious holidays, the whole 9 yards. But behind closed doors, his entire fortune is built on absolute ruthless exploitation. He's the kind of guy who genuinely believes the gods are smiling down on him, all while he's basically destroying the lives of the very people who have to borrow from him.
So this constant, invisible threat just completely unravels him. This guy, who was once so cool and collected, is now just consumed by paranoia. He starts suspecting everyone, even his own staff. It gets so bad that in this desperate attempt to please, some unseen force, he starts being weirdly polite. He even lowers his ridiculously high interest rates. It's pure terror, and it's forcing him to change who he is at his very core.
And you know, this kind of fear, it doesn't just stay locked up in your head. Oh no, it spills out into his home life, and it leads to this really tense argument with the one person who truly knows him, his wife, Kaysar. Kaysar's solution is actually pretty simple. She's like, let's just get out of here. She's begging him, let's just take our money and run for a few months until this all blows over. I mean, it's a totally practical idea, right? It comes from this really basic, desperate need to just be safe.
But this just sets up a huge clash of ideas. Kaysar's logic is just simple. Their lives are worth way more than all their stuff. But Nanakchand, he's a man who is all about control. There's no way he's going to let someone chase him out of his own house. Instead, he puts all his faith in his strong doors, his rifles, and the police, a system he's sure his money and influence can control.
So, they're at a total stalemate. And then, just like that, a solution seems to magically appear right on his doorstep. And honestly, it feels a little too perfect, like it was sent from above or something.
Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. And who is it? The police. You can just imagine the wave of relief that must have washed over Nanakchand. The very system he put his trust in, it's come to his rescue. And he didn't even have to call them.
And the manipulation starts right away. It's brilliant, actually. They go straight for Nanakchand's ego. The head constable says something like, "The superintendent himself gave special orders. We have to protect the biggest Sith in the district." They make him feel so important, so special. He is being played like a fiddle, and he has absolutely no idea.
So here's the plan they lay out for him, and on paper, it sounds foolproof. Step 1, they'll help him identify all the valuables. Step 2, they'll pack it all up, securely. Step 3, they'll transport everything to the official government treasury for safekeeping. And Step 4, he gets to keep the only key, and he gets an official receipt. I mean, it sounds perfect, right? It's logical, it's secure. It basically takes all the risk right off his shoulders.
Nanakchand is completely sold. He's convinced this is his salvation. So what does he do? He throws open his vaults and lets these guys get to work. He's literally supervising his own robbery, becoming the main manager of his own financial destruction, and he doesn't have a clue.
And just think for a second about what's being packed up and carried out of that house. It's not just stuff. It's his entire life's work. A lifetime of ruthless accumulation. We're talking jewelry, gold coins, stacks of cash, expensive silks and saris, fancy shawls. They even pack up his wife Kaysar's personal vanity case. Everything is just methodically packed and loaded, piece by agonizing piece.
Before you know it, the house is just empty. It's been completely hollowed out.
stripped bare of everything that screamed wealth and status. All that's left is the junk: iron, wood, some basic pots and pans, stuff that's worthless to any real thief. It's just a shell of what it used to be.
So the car pulls away, just groaning under the weight of his entire fortune, and Nanak Chand is squeezed right in there with the quote-unquote constables. And here's this really powerful image. His wife Kesar is watching from the doorway. The story says it's as if she were saying goodbye to a daughter leaving home for good. It's just so sad, and it's a huge bit of foreshadowing.
Okay, so they're driving out of town, heading into the quiet, desolate countryside. In Nanak Chand's mind, everything is great. His wealth is safe, the danger is gone. But then, the vibe in the car starts to change. The conversation takes this really dark, almost philosophical turn.
The head constable's whole tone just shifts. He's not talking like a cop anymore. He sounds more like a prophet or something. He starts talking about Maya, which in Hindu philosophy is this idea that the material world is just an illusion. And he tells Nanak Chand, "We were sent by God to free you from this web, to break him out of this prison of wealth he built for himself." And Nanak Chand? He's just totally confused. He must be thinking, this has to be some kind of weird joke, right?
And then he drops the bombshell, the devastating reveal. He says, "We are those very divine policemen whose letters you have received." They're not cops at all. They're the ones who sent the letters. They are the Khudai Fauzdar, which literally translates to the divine policeman. Wow!
In that one single moment, Nanak Chand's entire world just collapses. He's in a state of complete and utter shock. And that's when they push him out of the moving car, just dump him on the side of a lonely road, leaving him there to watch his entire life's fortune drive off into the night.
But they don't leave him with absolutely nothing. As the car speeds away, the head constable throws something out the window. It's 3 rupees. Just 3 rupees. And this is the most cruel, poetic part of the whole story. That is the exact amount of money Seth Nanak Chand had in his pocket when he first came to this town as a poor young man. He's been completely reset, back to zero. And that's where the story leaves us, with this huge question. The men who robbed him, were they just criminals? I mean, yes, of course they were. But at the same time, didn't they also deliver a kind of cosmic justice that the official system never, ever would have? They didn't see themselves as thieves. They called themselves warriors, correcting a deep moral wrong. And it really forces you to ask a tough question. In a society that allows men like Nanak Chand to get so rich by destroying others, who are the real villains here?